Hey guys, the Super Review Show for our very first Star Wars only show, our first Star Wars only Star Wars show ever. I'm going to introduce the panel sitting with me today. First off, to my left, we have Mr. Tim Jacob. Say hello, Tim.
Hello. Thank you.
This is Tim. And this is his two younger brothers, Evan and Luke. How you guys doing today?
Hello. Good.
How you guys doing? Good?
I'm good.
So all we're going to do today is talk Star Wars and nothing but Star Wars. And so a lot of movie news came out recently. We're going to get into the movie news, and then we're going to get into some canon stuff as well. So Star Wars canon, like what is fact in the Star Wars universe. So first off, for the movie news, Star Wars: The Force Awakens was at Comic-Con this year, and what happened was, I don't know if you guys heard about this, was that J.J. Abrams brought out Lawrence Kasdan, the writer of Empire Strikes Back. He brought out Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm, and he brought out the new cast, and he brought out Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, and what do you guys think about that? Like, the fact that you got Harrison Ford to come out to Comic-Con was a pretty big deal for everyone there. What do you guys think about that? Anyone can start.
Well, I think that if they got Harrison Ford to come out, I think that's a big deal, and it shows how powerful Star Wars has become over the years.
Yeah, that's right. Because actually, if you actually look at the people that were there, I don't know if you saw this, Tim. You had a bunch of unknown actors next to Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford. You had all of them there, but at the same time, you were surrounded by this new generation of Star Wars actors in this franchise. And one of the things I want to get your thoughts on this is that when George Lucas was making Star Wars: A New Hope, he had no one had ever heard of Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford before. They only heard about Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously. What do you think about that? Because JJ's doing what George Lucas did back then. He's taking the talented cast that are unknown and making them a star in the Star Wars universe. Star. What do you think about that?
Well, it's kind of like the cycle continues going. At first, it was Harrison Ford. He was nobody, and then he went to Star Wars, and now he's a big actor, and then he's getting the next generation of Star Wars to go and keep building up the whole Star Wars franchise.
That's right. And Luke, what do you think about that? Because today we hear names like Harrison Ford, and we think of Indiana Jones, we think of Han Solo, we think of a bunch of his other roles as well, from Blade Runner. But back in '77, no one knew who Harrison Ford was or Mark Hamill. I mean, and then you see these new actors come out like Oscar Isaac, you got Daisy Ridley, you got John Boyega, people that we've never even heard of, and now these guys are going to be the new Jedi, the new Sith, the new face of the Star Wars franchise moving forward. Is that a good move? Do you think? Is that good or is that bad? What do you think?
I think it is because they weren't, nobody knew them, but then when they went in the Star Wars movies, then they became really popular and everyone knew who they were.
Yeah. So you think that's good? That's very good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what our thoughts on the Comic-Con panel. Our thoughts on the Comic-Con panel. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Our next bit of Star Wars movie news is that the Star Wars production designer. I'm sorry, we didn't get his name, but he said in an interview that he's keeping the feel and the continuity of the original trilogy. So when you think of Evan, let's start with you for a second. When you think of the Battle of Hoth, and you think about how cool that base was inside a giant snow cave, that's something that you'll remember for the rest of your life, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was just amazing how they made a base out of just a snowy mountainside.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, whenever it's wintertime, I want to go outside now, and I want to make a base now, That'd be great. But, Tim, how much should they even care about keeping the feel of the original trilogy and moving forward into this new trilogy?
I think they absolutely should because it helps market the next Star Wars, the next segment 7, 8, and 9. It helps keep the old part still going, but it also gives you the whole new Star Wars. It gives you modern but with the same style as the old Star Wars.
Right, because when you think of, Luke, I'm sure you've seen Return of the Jedi, obviously. When you think of Endor, you think of that forest moon of Endor. When you see that forest and you see that pack of Ewoks coming after you, you know you're on the forest moon of Endor. So when you hear these comments about that, they're keeping the production, they're keeping like the design of everything like very similar to the original trilogy. What do you think that? Do you think that's? I mean, obviously it's a good thing because that way they're keeping the history of the good design and the feel of it as well. But you, I mean, you're 7 now. You're 8. Okay, so you've seen all of the films and you love that. You know that's Tatooine. That's that's the Death Star. You know that because it felt real to you. It felt very practical to you. And that's the thing I forgot to mention. J.J. Abrams used I believe it was 80 to 90% of a lot of the stuff you see in the he said this in the Comic-Con thing. A lot of the creatures you'll see in The Force Awakens are all practically made. Like there's no CG. Like the little robot you see in the trailer with the little BB-8, they actually made that. They actually physically made that. So I mean, thoughts? What do you think about that?
I think I like how they made it instead of just putting someone in a costume of a robot.
Yeah.
I like how they actually made the robot so it's like it looks more real.
Yeah, because they made the robot, and also they brought out they call him JoJo now. That you see that in J.J. Abrams' Force for Awakens, Force for Change video for UNICEF and the Kids Fund. He brought out that alien, the practical effect alien you saw in the video. He brought that out on stage, and it turns out that wasn't CGI at all. That was a real guy that brought that man in suit out to do this, and I thought that was really cool. So that's really cool how they're keeping everything very practical. While they're adding CGI, they're keeping it very real at the same time. That's very important when it comes to Star Wars, especially. So our next bit of movie news we have here is the new Han Solo spin-off movie that is recently. Yes, Lucasfilm came out. They said there's a Han Solo spin-off movie coming in 2018. Now, we all know that it's been rumored for a while that it's either Han Solo or a Boba Fett or even an Obi-Wan Kenobi. But this is now Han Solo, and it's also being directed by the Lego movie directors. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. The 21 Jump Street directors as well. They brought them on and said, hey, we're going to do a Han Solo movie. You're the directors. We got a writer on already. Tim, thoughts on the Han Solo movie?
Well, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how it all plays out. Going into the next Star Wars movie, seeing how Han Solo goes after, because it's been quite some time since the last movie.
That's right. Now, also, what era do you think this is going to take place in? Because it's a spin-off. It could take place before New Hope. It could take place between 6 and 7. What do you think?
It's probably going to be between 6 and 7. That way, it'll be almost like a bridge between the next episode.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Either one of you can start off with the Han Solo spin-off movie that's been announced.
I mean, I've loved all the Star Wars movies that I've seen, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see the Han Solo movie because it's Han Solo.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, going back to jumping off what I was telling about Tim here, what do you think about regarding what era? Because we don't really know where Han got the Millennium Falcon. We don't know when he freed Chewbacca between 3 and 4. We don't really know that well. Do you think it could be there? Or I know Tim over here thinks it could be between 6 and 7 to fill those gaps. But I personally, my gut thinks it's going to be not an origin movie, but like a late origin movie where he frees Chewbacca, he wins the Millennium Falcon, and it sets up Episode 4. I mean, that's my gut thing. My hopes is to be like what Tim said here, that it would be it would fill the gaps between 6 and 7. Say, what was Han doing? How did him and Chewie, do after Return of the Jedi? How did they do? Regarding all this, I mean, what do you think about that?
I hope that it's going to be between the earlier movies, 3 and 4, because, I mean, I've kind of wondered about how he got the Millennium Falcon, when he set Chewie free.
That's true.
I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know too, but I mean, I would like to, at the same time, I want all these stories to move forward, because one of the things that I'm having a problem with, and maybe you can answer this question for me, Luke, is that it seems like Lucasfilm and Disney, they're doing Star Wars spin-off movies that are more, how to put it, they're prequels instead of sequels. If you know what I mean, like a prequel, they come before and sequels afterwards. So like, what do you think? I mean, do you think that if it's happening, obviously, but do you think it's going to happen before episode 4 to tie that further together, or do you think it's going to be more of a like a 6 and 7 kind of gap where it's going to tie things together? Because we don't know a lot about 7. All we know is that those 2 teasers are out, and I mean, it looks like they set their back. The Empire is still around and stuff like that. Like, do you think they should tie 6 and 7 together more, or 3 and 4? Like, if you were in charge of Lucasfilm, you're in charge of all the money to go around. What do you do? Do you tie 3 and 4 together, or do you tie 6 and 7 together?
I do 3 and 4.
Okay.
So you could find out, like, the story of Han Solo.
I see.
Like, how he got the Millennium Falcon and how he gets money for Jabba the Hutt.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you could get some money for Jabba. Okay. Well, please let us know what your thoughts are about this Han Solo spinoff. Like, what do you think could happen? Let us know. Jump in the comment section. Please let us know about that. Now, we also have a rumored movie lineup that was possibly... Obviously, it didn't happen at Comic-Con, so it's probably fake by now. But it was leaked a little while ago, and I want to get all your thoughts on this. Anyone can start when I'm done with saying what it was. This film slate got leaked. It went Episode 7, Rogue One, which is the first anthology movie or spinoff. And then you have Episode 8, and then you have... And this comes out every year. So 7, Rogue One, 8, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I almost said Ben Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 9, and a Boba Fett Han Solo movie. Now, we also know... obviously, we just reported that this Han Solo movie's been confirmed by Lucasfilm itself, but they didn't say that this Boba Fett is part of it. Maybe he will be. I mean, Evan, let's start with you. Like, out of these films that were rumored to be announced, like, obviously we know about 7, we know about 8, we know about 9. Rogue One's been confirmed as a spin-off movie. Han Solo's recently been confirmed, but this Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, I mean, I'm interested to know your thoughts on like where it could take place, and then like what era could it take place in, and would you like to see it?
I would definitely like to see it. I mean, I think it could happen, but like, I want to know about Obi-Wan Kenobi's childhood and like how he grew up, how he became a Jedi.
Right, a Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, because I have no idea about that, and I want to know.
Okay. Luke, what do you think?
I think maybe it will take place in the Clone Wars before the Empire and the Rebels.
So you think between 2 and 3, or between 3 and 4? Like what? Like, because you said Clone Wars, because I know that Clone Wars is like between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So you went to like more between 2 and 3, like what? Like maybe some side mission that he did or something.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I'm gonna add my 2 cents in this before I get over to you about the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. That's rumored, not official, rumored. I would like to personally. Obviously we know Obi-Wan Kenobi died in Episode 4, but I would love to see what happens with you would bring Ewan McGregor back from the prequels, and you would bring him back for a between 3 and 4 spinoff. That way it ties that together more than, let's say, a Han Solo would, because who wasn't in the prequels at all, and you would have Obi-Wan Kenobi tying those 2 trilogies together. And like maybe like how did he get the Tatooine? How is he watching over Luke? I think that's more of an era that hasn't really been mined yet, if you know what I'm saying. Like it hasn't been sought after. But I think that'd be a really good era to jump for. But I mean, who knows? Like, thoughts?
Well, honestly, if I were making the movie, I would have it so that Obi-Wan comes out after Episode 6. I would try and find a way to make him, like, I don't know, come back alive or something like that, in order to keep the movies going forward, so that, I don't know, Obi-Wan can help Luke finish the training as we move on into Episode 7 and 8, and then maybe, I don't know, die in Episode 9 or something like that, but he'd be alive long enough to keep all the series moving.
Right. Now, you would probably know more about this than me. Now, obviously he's a Force ghost in 5 and 6. Could he be a Force ghost in like the spin-off movie you're describing after 6? But because I never heard this before, because you could do like a spin-off movie after 6, but it would focus primarily on like him as a Force Ghost. But do you know if the Force Ghosts ever come back to real people or no? You know, have you guys ever like heard that? Do you know if Force Ghosts can ever come back to real people? Like can they come back from the dead, so to speak?
I've
I
never
hope
heard
they
of
do.
that.
I've never heard
I
of
hope
it,
they
but
do, but
they could probably.
I didn't heard of that.
pull it off.
I never heard of that.
Right, because I think that if they could do what you're saying, and they have like, you know, maybe he dies later, and maybe they can make up some excuse, not an excuse, but like a story plot point where it says, like they do what I just said, and like that way you can get your movie after 6, but also he comes back from like being a Force Ghost and stuff like that. I think that'd be cool. Talking about this Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, it was rumored, I think about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was rumored that it was going to be a trilogy of films. So like 1, 2, 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi 1, Obi-Wan Kenobi 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi 3. Now obviously we don't know if that's true or not, so we would have to wait and see. But like anyone can jump in. Like regarding an Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy. What do you think? This is not up there, but this is not in our show notes. But what do you think? Like, what could you see an Obi-Wan Kenobi trilogy happening or no?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they could definitely go someplace off the first movie, like at the end, some big bad guy returns or something. And then the next 2 movies, or one, just go out on like some side mission.
Right, I see. Or you know what they could do? They could do, going back to my point about having it between 3 and 4. What if they were to do a trilogy between 3 and 4, taking place like a suspenseful build up between after the first one and the second one, and then the third one wraps everything up. Like the first one is him leaving episode 3. The second one would be about his missions and stuff like that, and the last one would be him as an old man looking like Alec Guinness did in the original film, being the next, looking over Luke in the third one, and then we all know what happens after that because episode 4 comes around.
I think that's actually a great idea. I would very much like to see that happen.
I think that'd be cool though if they could do that, but who knows? So yeah, any other thoughts on that? Any other thoughts on the other like episode 8 or stuff like that? Because it's the big film slate that got leaked. You got any other thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. Off to our next topic. We have. Oh wait, this is not our next topic. It's a little part we like to call "What is going on with Star Wars canon." For those who have no idea what Star Wars canon means, I'm gonna tell you right now. Canon, it's not the one that goes. It's not that. It's what it means is that it's the true history in the Star Wars universe. What is fact in the Star Wars universe? And as far as I know, I'm not too caught up with it, but from my understanding, it's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and any future movie coming out. So episode 7 is going to be canon. Spin-off Rogue One is going to be canon, and then every movie spin-off. They're all going to be canon now. But also, for those who don't know about this, all the books, the comic books, the video games, anything, like even the cartoons as well. Rebels, Star Wars Rebels is on Disney XD, and that is a part of canon. That takes place before episode 4, like with other characters that, you know, they're kind of build up to episode 4. It takes place after the Clone Wars, for those of you who didn't know. But one of the things I want to focus on really quick is this book that's coming out later in this year, in September. It's called Aftermath. And Aftermath was originally planned as one Star Wars novel, but now it's going to be it's now planned as a trilogy of books. So, and for those of you who didn't see the cover, the Aftermath cover it's literally the Death Star being blown up on the cover, and it takes place after. It's supposedly going to take place. Tie-in between 6 and 7 to build up for episode 7. I think that'd be a really good, and like more power to the author for making it a trilogy of books. I mean, I know it's a lot of work to write a book in general, let alone 3. But Aftermath. What do you think, Luke? What do you think about Aftermath? It's a book coming out later this year. It's a junior novel. So it's like my age and maybe a little bit older, and maybe a little younger too. What do you think about this Aftermath book? What do you think? What do you think is going to go on?
In the book?
Yeah, because it's going to take place, I think, I forget the timeline, but they said it's going to take place after episode 6 and tie into stuff that goes in 7? Like, what do you think? I mean, I'm going to actually ask you a different question. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about this book? That it's canon. It's going to be official, history for the Star Wars universe, but it's going to be tied in with the movies as well. So it's going to set up 7. Like, how excited are you for that? First off,
I think it's a good idea.
right,
If it comes out, I would get it and read it.
right, or plug for all you audiobook fans. It's an audiobook. How cool is that? Come on, audiobooks are awesome, right? You're not just reading a book anymore. Like, oh my God, I don't want to read a book. You have an audiobook now. For those of you who don't know, that there's tons of Star Wars novels on audiobook on YouTube. Go check them out. You guys are gonna kick out of it. Just a little plug. That's a quick thing right there. Aftermath. What do you think?
I think it's going to be necessary, to say the least. I think you're going to need something to bridge between 6 and 7. Since the Empire's already been destroyed, you need something to get a new villain to have to be defeated by the rebels ultimately. But
Right.
you're going to need definitely a bridge or something to close the gap between the two.
Right. Now, that was your other thing. How interested are you? How is your enthusiasm building up for this book that's coming out? Because this is the first actual history book that's going to happen after episode 6 that's going to come out. Like, how excited are you? I'm going through the roof right now. I'm going like berserk right now. Just getting so excited. How excited are you for it?
I think it's going to be very good. I'm honestly looking forward to it a lot because I'm going to, it's the next section really because episode 3's been out for,
For 10 years now.
Yeah, it's a while. So I'm looking forward to a new Star Wars thing, something
Like a new
that's
story.
never been seen. Yeah, a new plot line.
Oh, can't wait. What about you guys? I jumped over there first. What do you...
I know that in episode 7, Luke is an old man, so I want to know what happens between when Luke, like how old Luke is in episode 6.
Right.
I want to know what happens in between
Oh, great
6
point.
and 7.
That's a great point because and obviously this will feature Luke, this will feature Han, this will feature like Chewie and stuff like that. Like they're all going to be in it, but I mean, I don't know if you can tell, I'm like starting to shake. I'm just thinking about like, oh my God, it's happening, But also another thing I want to plug in from the old Star Wars canon, we had a trilogy of books that came out in 1991, 1992, 93. It's called, you may have heard of it, it's called the Heir to the Empire trilogy or the Thrawn trilogy. Grand Admiral Thrawn, I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Oh yeah, I think I have.
He's
heard
the
of that.
blue-skinned, red-eyed. He takes over the Empire 5 years after the Death Star explodes. So, like the Empire is restored. He is collectively returning the Empire territories back. And another thing that he did very well, he's got a great military mind. I listened to the audiobook like a few times now. What he did, he studies a culture's art, and he knows how to take them down. Because that's a pretty crazy guy right there, let alone to lead the Empire. Now, obviously, this isn't canon anymore, but could we see? Now, I'm asking. Any of you guys can answer this, but what do you guys think? Could this character Thrawn? And by the way, he's near like the Darth Vader level of power. So could he? He's an alien too. He's a blue-skinned alien. Could he pop up in this Aftermath book, therefore making his character not the events in his Heir to the Empire trilogy, but could his character be canon if it does show up in his? This is just speculation. Could he pop up in this book? Could he pop up in Aftermath? What do you guys think?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that he could show up in Aftermath because it takes place during same time. So
yeah, it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and this book takes place, and then I believe it's 10 years. I mean, it's a little bit different, but at least it's not 30 years later where episode 7 takes place. But look, for someone who may not have heard Grand Admiral Thrawn's name before, based on how I was describing him, where he's just one of those guys, just he's leading the Empire. He's got like a brand new, like all the stormtroopers are back working for him. Luke eventually, spoiler alert, Luke eventually takes him down in the 3rd book, but he was very powerful in his own right. he was very, let's get to it and start cracking heads open kind of guy. He was a very near Darth Vader level of villain. And like, how does that sound to you? Because if so, that means his character could appear in episode 8, let's say. If he is in the book, that means he could be in episode 8. Like, what do you think about that?
I think they should put him in episode 8.
You think so?
Yes, because if there's a book about him,
Yeah, there's 3 books.
yeah, then they
Yeah.
should actually make the movie about the book.
Right. Well, they can, yes. I don't know if they could do like take event for event, but I also think that that this throng actually, my bad, I made a mistake. There's a trilogy of books that takes place after Return of the Jedi. He dies and then they bring him back from the dead, and like 25 years after the explosion of the Death Star, the second one. So they bring him back again. There's 2 books right there. So, and the same author too, Timothy Zahn. If you guys have not read Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire, go buy it or audiobook it or whatever. Do it now, okay? Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, it's like so good. So yeah, but Aftermath. Any concluding thoughts for Aftermath, guys?
I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
want to read it.
You want to read it? All right. So, but before we sign off, guys, for this first edition of our Star Wars talk, what is your favorite moment or scene in any of the Star Wars movies? Let's go down. Luke, what do you think? What's your favorite?
I like when in A New Hope,
Mm-hmm.
when Luke and Han Solo are dressed as stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Then when the real stormtroopers come in
Right.
and the door opens, one of them hits their head. I like that part.
That's right. I forgot. I forgot about that. Like doing. Oh, that was great. Evan, what's your favorite scene out of any of the Star Wars movies? It's tough though, because you got so many. You got like the Return of the Jedi space battle, and then you got like I Am Your Father. You got a lot. You got a lot to pick from.
I like in the episode 1 where it's Darth Maul
Versus
and Qui-Gon
and Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that
That
battle.
was, especially the music build up with it. John Williams' score was ridiculous for that. It was great. Tim?
I like the whole thing in episode 4 where Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are going at it, and then Luke's running by with the stormtroopers trying to shoot at him. Like that whole scene, that one was probably my favorite.
I couldn't decide between I Am Your Father, like Darth Vader revealing that he's Luke's father, but I will say this though. I think my favorite battle out of any movie in general, not just Star Wars, is the Return of the Jedi battle. There was a very interesting thing. There was a battle in space above the Force Moon of Endor with Lando leading the Republic into the Death Star, or the Rebellion, I should say, and for the second Death Star, and you had the Ewoks, Han and Leia, battling the Ewoks fighting against stormtroopers on the ground on the Force Moon. I thought that was great, but also at the same time you had Luke and Darth Vader's fight with the Emperor mixed in. Like all of that meshed into one big battle. I think that's one of my favorite battles of any movie, actually. Not just Star Wars, but any movie in general. So, any concluding thoughts, guys? Any at all?
I think we covered it.
I haven't covered it. So, everyone, thank you so much for coming into this very first Star Wars, the Star Wars show that we do here on the Super Review Show. And please, when The Force Awakens does come out, we will see if we can do a review of it. And if you love what we're doing here, please feel free and comment below and like us up, and then maybe we'll do another one. Well, we have plans to do more, but we'll leave it up to the viewers. But so for Luke Jacob, Evan Jacob, Tim Jacob, and JT Mahoney, for the Super Review Show, may the Force be with you.